So welcome. Glad you guys could be with us tonight. I'm just going to start us off, just take a moment of prayer, just to kind of bless our evening as we go along. So if you're willing to join me, just go ahead and bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we get to come together and share. And thank you for all these people who are here wanting to learn more. And I pray that you bless them in all areas of their life, especially in their health, God. Pray that we would lift them up in our prayers. That, you know, if there's any health struggles, that you would heal any spirit of disease and come against that, and just to be able to lift these people up, bless them, again, in all areas, but mostly in their health. And pray for safe travels for everyone, that everyone will walk away learning something amazing that can impact their life. And we pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 So, like I said, glad you guys are all here tonight. If I haven't met you, I'm Dr. Gall. I'm the owner and founder of Essential Family Chiropractic, the clinic you're in. If I have met you, I'm still Dr. Gall, and I'm still happy to see you. Okay? That you guys could take a Monday night and be here, and like I said, just trying to learn something more when it comes to your health. Okay? Just a little bit about myself is I've been here in Essential Family Chiropractic for almost 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in July. Okay? For those of you who are counting. But I've been proud to be part of this community, but I've been in practice for over 8 years now, 10 of that, or over 10 years in health education. Okay? A lot of you have heard me talk about how much I love teaching. Okay? I take the doctor, because doctor means teacher, I take that to heart. So I've always tried to incorporate that into my practice, and not just, getting people out of pain and working on maybe making them feel a little bit better. Is I want people to actually understand what it means to be healthy and how to do that. Okay, we all have an amazing potential for health, but unfortunately, for some of you even here tonight, you might not be reaching that. Okay, you might not be feeling that that level of health, and it's because we haven't unlocked it yet. Okay, but that potential is in there. We just got to make sure we're removing the interferences. Okay, and when I opened my office, like I said, almost 5 years ago here in Brighton, it was with our sole purpose, our mission is creating a culture of health. Creating a culture of health in this community, in the surrounding communities, by helping people reach their God-given health potential. Okay, helping them live as close to that potential as possible, and when you do that, awesome things happen. Okay, and of course, for those of you who have been around, you know that the way we do that is as a Max Living office. And I'm a Max Living doctor teaching what we call the 5 essentials of health. Okay? Teaching people how to be healthy using these things that they're obviously essential. Okay? Not just a good idea. You have to have these things in order to be healthy. Anybody can list off the 5 essentials? We kind of switched up the wording on them. How many of you can list them off? Come on, just start shouting them out. Nutrition.
Fitness.
Oxygen and exercise, yep. Detox, minimizing toxins.
Adjustment.
Nervous system, which is core chiropractic. And then there's one more.
Rest and meditation.
You're on the right track.
So close.
Mindset.
Mindset.
It's your mindset. Okay. It's your mindset. Is applying all these things: core chiropractic, nutrition, mindset, oxygen and exercise, and minimizing toxins. And I use these every day. Help people get off medications. Obviously, you can see our drug freedom jar. Getting out of pain, getting more energy, sleeping better. All the things that people want for their health. We do that using the 5 essentials. Okay. And the cool thing is as a Max Living doctor, and for a lot of you who are Max Living patients, is it seems like okay, it's these people here in this office, but literally these past 2 weeks, there have been thousands of people hearing the exact same things, learning the exact same 5 essentials, because Max Living is hundreds of doctors all across North America, between Canada, U.S., Mexico, Puerto Rico, even some branches off in other continents. So you're part of something much, much bigger, and it's really a movement about helping people reach their God-given health potential. Okay, learning the exact same things, like I said, that you are. Okay, so this is what I use every single day. And obviously tonight, our focus is going to be on vitamins, okay? You're going to learn everything you want to know about vitamins, what you should be taking, what you should not be taking, things that you may or may not need, how to find the right vitamins. We're going to go through all those things, okay? And I'm going to touch base on all these essentials so that tonight you'll actually be able to take some things home, start applying this, start living this way, and to be able to see the results, okay? Whenever we talk about these things, we always have to start at the beginning. Whenever we talk about the 5 essentials and supplements, we have to start at the beginning, okay? And the beginning, when it comes to anything health related, is an understanding of how the body works, okay? Is understanding how is our body made to be able to function and heal. So in order for you to be able to digest the foods that you're taking in order for you to be able to absorb the nutrients, what do we need? Okay? It comes down to one thing, and it's really our most important essential, which is core chiropractic. Okay? And really, it's more what we talk about is the spine, proper spinal alignment. Okay? And you say the spine, really? That's the most important? Well, it's not the spine itself, it's what the spine's job is to do. And that's to surround and protect your nervous system. Okay? What controls everything in your body? The nervous system. It's your central nervous system. For your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, for a cut on your arm to be able to heal, again, for your stomach to produce the acid to digest your food, it comes through the nervous system. Okay? And the spine's job is to surround and protect the nervous system. Okay? And so the reason we have to have that spinal alignment is because if your spine gets out of alignment, shifts out of position, it's going to interfere. It's going to create what we call subluxation, which is an interference to your nervous system. It's basically blocking the messages from your brain going out to your body, shutting off life, so that we don't have the communication from up here going all the way down to your heart, to your lungs, to your bowels, to your eyeballs, whatever it is. Okay? So whenever we talk about making changes with your diet, if you don't have a properly functioning nervous system, you might as well just scrap it, because you're never going to be able to absorb the nutrients and for your body to do everything that it's supposed to do. You talk about your gut. 80% of your immune system is controlled in your gut. Well, what controls that? It's the nervous system. Okay? Parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, all the way back and forth. And so when we look at spine, is normal position, curves from the side, straight from the front. When your spine's in that position, we know that there's no subluxation, there's no misalignment of the spine, which would do what to the nerves? To pinch them. Okay? To pinch those nerves, which blocks the messages, kind of like putting a kink in the garden hose. Okay? So you're going to get brown grass or green grass? You're going to get brown grass. Okay? Your lawn is going to get sick. Your garden is going to get sick because it's not able to get the water and everything that it needs. Okay? And how do you know? Well, your body has warning signs. You know, headaches, pain anywhere in your body. It's a symptom of something else going on. What's the cause? Menstrual issues, high blood pressure. That's a big one people don't realize. It's a huge surprise for people when all of a sudden their blood pressure starts to normalize and they start getting adjusted. Well, why is that? It's because we're taking pressure off the nerves, letting the body do what it's supposed to do. Depression, numbness and tingling, sciatica. That's probably the most common thing I see is, I got this pain down my leg. Neck pain, dizziness, fatigue, acid reflux, food intolerances. Okay? Maybe your gut isn't tolerating certain foods. Allergies, asthma. Allergies. Again, one of the reasons that I'm a chiropractor today is because of my wife and seeing her get rid of her allergies. Ear infections, frequent colds, constipation, digestive issues, attention and focus in kids, okay? ADD, ADHD, from a overstimulated sympathetic nervous system, sleep problems, which, that'll drive you nuts if you can't sleep, okay? Or even skin issues. So all these are warning signs that there's something going on with your nervous system, is because what controls all that? It's your nerves, okay? But the most important the most important test you can ever have is an X-ray of your spine, okay? Because an X-ray tells you alignment and position of your spine. So before we get into the nutrition stuff, if you've never had your nervous system checked, that's where we have to start. You have to start taking care of your nervous system in order to make sure that everything else is going to be able to function and heal the way it's supposed to. Okay? So now that I got that out of the way, and if you haven't, talk to Jen on the way out tonight. We generally do discounted evaluations where you can get all the X-rays testing for $40. Lets you know exactly what the problems are, okay, and then be able to decide what you're going to do from there. But got to start there. So now we get into the part that everybody wants to know. All right, and really, we're going to be diving into essential number 2, which is nutrition. Okay, and this is the one I get the most questions about when it comes to how do I make changes health-wise, because there's so information. But a lot of you saw is we were talking about war. How did World War II affect our food? Okay, so what does that got to do with it? Is because in 1909, the government started collecting data on nutrients in food to say okay, how much nutrients are in food, but it was at World War II when all of a sudden supplies got a little bit more scarce. Maybe food wasn't as plentiful because they had to send stuff over to our soldiers. We developed the nutrient content of the U.S. food supply. Basically, big long system basically to figure out how much nutrients we have in our food to make sure that Americans were getting the proper nourishment and nutritional needs to be able to keep them healthy and going and supporting the war effort at the time. Okay, and so the system, again, the nutrient control of the U.S. food supply estimates that, and it's something that's continued to develop year after year, where they actually look at certain things, certain measurements in our food to say how are things adapting and how are things changing, again, to make sure that Americans are getting a recommended supply of those things. And what they look at is things like protein, carbohydrates, fat, your macronutrients, cholesterol, dietary fiber. There's 10 different vitamins that they look at. There's 9 different minerals, essential minerals, that they're looking at as well to say, are we getting enough? They'll actually look at cholesterol. Okay? Of course, that's a big one that we hear about nowadays when it comes to our diet is how is our cholesterol doing? Okay? The dietary fiber, all those things. And like I said, annually they update this, and they use that to, okay, where do we need to fortify foods? Why do we put vitamin D in the milk? Okay? It's because they said, well, people weren't getting enough vitamin D, so let's start putting it in the milk. Why did we all of a sudden, everybody needs calcium, in milk? Or why do we start putting all this enriched flour into our breads? Because they said, well, maybe people aren't getting enough of these nutrients the way they need to. Okay? And so, like I said, they're continually adapting that. But the reason it's such an important thing is because when it comes to the chronic diseases, is how is that affected by the nutritional deficiencies that we might have here in our country? Okay? And it's one of those things where we as Americans are probably the most overfed population in the world, but yet malnourished, and the same as countries in Africa. As we're eating more, but we're still malnourished, as if we're not getting the things that we need. Okay? And you look at the chronic diseases that we face here in the United States, how that's affected by our diet. So cancer, 1/3 of cancers that we face here in the United States are preventable by our lifestyle, preventable by our diet. Okay? That's the same amount of cancer that's linked to smoking. Okay? So we're all about not smoking, but yet how many people actually really pay attention to the foods they're putting in their body? Okay? And of course, people who have minimal intakes of fruits and vegetables, they're more likely to develop cancer. Okay? It's just a fact. You're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, you're helping your body to get sick and to build cancer. Okay? Obesity. Okay? Of course, again, that's linked to nutritional deficiencies. Diabetes. The CDC estimates that 29 million Americans have diabetes. Okay? And 1 in 4, 25% of those 29 million don't even know they have it. Okay? That's kind of a scary thought, is you've got, again, a disease building from basically having too much sugar, and you have no idea. It's literally killing you, causing your eyes to wear out, causing damage to your nervous system. Again, we talk about the links to Alzheimer's and uncontrolled blood sugar, how that affects your brain. So not good. Vitamin D is linked to obesity. If people who aren't getting enough vitamin D, they're finding that the body actually will store fat. It tries to store energy because they're stuck inside. And of course, where do we get vitamin D? We get it from the sun. Okay, so the body thinks that we're stuck in some cold environment, and so it says we need to conserve energy because you're not going to have the nutrients. But yet, we're continually eating and eating and eating. So vitamin D deficiency linked to obesity and again to diabetes. Osteoporosis. Of course, we always hear about osteoporosis. You need what? Calcium. Okay. Which is interesting because the body's calcium levels are very highly controlled. Okay. And calcium is actually one of the most, I find, overprescribed supplements that we run into, is because you can actually get calcium from a lot of different sources. You don't need to be necessarily taking it because your body might not be processing it the way it's supposed to. Okay? But of course, calcium is important for your bones. It is important. Okay, absolutely. You do need it for blood clotting. It's for your muscles to contract, for your heart to beat. You need those even for your nerves to be for nerve stimulation. You do need calcium for that. Magnesium is another one that people are very deficient in. That's a huge link to again heart health, to your digestive system, to the smooth muscle of your bowels, being able to kind of push and absorb food through. Your immune system is really important for magnesium. So there's a lot of chronic diseases, atherosclerosis, which is hardening of your arteries, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, diabetes, cancer, if you're not getting enough of your magnesium. Okay? So those are some of the nutritional deficiencies that we're facing right now. And so we have to look at, again, well, what is essential? And there are certain nutrients that your body cannot make, and it has to come from an outside source. And so these are, of course, going to be essentials, is because of the vitamins, the minerals that you need to survive. Okay, and your body just can't make it. But it all depends on what foods you're consuming. Okay, depends on what foods you're putting into your body. And so this is where, before we can even talk about supplements, we have to look at, okay, where should most of our nutrients come from? Where should it come from? From our food, right? I always tell people yeah, I could sell you a whole crap ton of supplements, and probably make a lot of money off it, but it's ultimately comes down to is what do you actually need? What are the things that your body actually needs? Or what can you get from your food? Your nutrients should come from your food. And so again, that's where we have to look at the macronutrients, the micronutrients. Okay, and so looking at the macro, obviously those are the big things that we need that in big quantities. Okay, those are our carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Okay, carbohydrates they're probably the biggest source of fuel that we need, but it's also, and you can get a lot of those from, you can get them from grains, your ancient grains, your whole grains, beans, fiber-rich veggies. You can get a lot of those. Okay, and that's an important thing to get. But at the same time, is you could live the rest of your life and not have any grains, and you'd be completely fine because you can get carbohydrates from other places, right? Okay, you don't need the bread, but sometimes we think that we need it. Okay, fat. This is the one that everybody gets scared of. Okay, for so long being told that low fat, no fat is the way to go. In reality, it's the most important. So you got to make sure you're consuming lots of fats because it's going to keep your cells healthy. It's going to keep your hormones balanced. It's going to keep your brain healthy. Because 60% of your brain is made up of fat. It's for building your cells, for blood clotting, muscle movement. So we got to get omega-3 fats and the nuts and seeds and all those things. And then protein. That's the building blocks. That's your building blocks for your body, for your muscles. Is you got to make sure you're getting adequate protein, but also, again, quality protein that your body can actually use. Okay? And then the micronutrients, there's a whole list of different vitamins. I'll just kind of touch base on each of these vitamins and how it's going to help your body. So vitamin A helps form and maintain your healthy teeth, your bones, soft tissues, mucous membranes, your skin. Carrots, sweet potatoes, your orange vegetables contain a lot of vitamin A. Okay? And they get their hue from the carotene pigment. Okay? You heard of beta carotene? That's where it comes from. It gives you that orange color. Okay? And you got carotenoids, beta carotene, which convert into vitamin A. So 50% of your vitamin A is needed in the American diet comes from these carotenes. Okay? And this is again your sweet potatoes, your carrots. Spinach is another form of your carotenes. Vitamin E, which is also called tocopherol. Vitamin, it's an antioxidant and helps the body form red blood cells. Okay, that's pretty important. And it helps you use vitamin K. Okay? And you get these from like sunflower seeds, sunflower oil, almonds. Those are going to give you some good sources of vitamin E. Okay? B1, thiamine, that converts nutrients into energy. That's found in grains, meat, and fish. Okay, so again, you can live without the grains because you'll be getting it from your meat and your fish. Riboflavin, which is B2, critical in energy production, cell function, fat metabolism. So you want to burn fat, your B2 is a good one for that. Niacin, B3. This is really good in expanding your blood vessels. Anybody ever taken niacin in like a fairly high dose? Okay, what do you get?
Flush.
Yeah, flush. Okay, why? It's because your blood vessels are expanding, the blood's flowing out, and you get that kind of hot feeling. Beef liver is a good place to get it. Organ meats, starchy vegetables, or excuse me, no, that's going to be more from meat, salmon, leafy greens, and beans is where you get a lot of your niacin. B6, this is where you get it from your meat and your fish, okay, or your organ meats. Okay, beef liver is a big one of that. Helps form red blood cells, maintain brain function. Okay, folate, which is B9. Cell division, that's again found in meats, spinach, asparagus, and then B12. This is a big one when it comes to metabolism and your energy. Okay, you talk about like thyroid, that's a big one. Is your B12. They always talk about B12 shots. It gives you that boost of energy. So that's a really good one to make sure you're getting into your diet. And again, from your red meats. Okay. So, and then now your minerals, you got calcium, like I said, that's bones, teeth, phosphorus, that's another one in your bones, the cell membranes, magnesium, already talked about that, iron, which is going to be your red blood cells, it helps with hormones, you get those from beans and spinach, zinc, that's a big one for immunity. They was talking about if you're feeling sick, you can take some zinc to go with that. To help boost your immune system. Potassium, which is part of your electrolyte balance, so your magnesium, potassium, calcium are big ones when it comes to keeping your body hydrated, but also making sure that you got muscle function. So everybody knows, what's the most common form of potassium?
Bananas.
Bananas. Okay, yeah, bananas. Okay, that's going to help curb muscle cramps. Avocados, you can also get them from avocados. So less sugar that way, and then spinach. Spinach actually has more potassium than bananas do. So you want a little more
Spinach is
potassium.
like the #1 food.
Yeah, spinach is great. Tons of nutrients there. That's why your leafy green vegetables, your kale. I know all you kale haters out there. It's good for you though. But spinach has tons of enzymes. Helps your body digest food. Sodium. A lot of people try to avoid sodium, and for a long time we said sodium's the cause of your high blood pressure. That's not. It's not it. It's inflammation is what's causing your high blood pressure. So you can have the salt. Iodized salt is important, okay, especially for your thyroid function. Okay, obviously you don't want to have too much of it because it will dehydrate you if you're not taking enough water. But you can have it. Okay, don't cut that out. That's always the first thing people start doing when they get on high blood pressure. Oh, you need to cut out the salt. No.
So what about sea salt?
sea salt that doesn't have the iodine in it. So you do need iodine for your thyroid. But that's generally what I'll use instead of the regular table salt. Body can process it a little bit easier, but now they have like iodized sea salt, so they actually add the iodine to it, again, to enrich it.
Are there other ways to get your iodine other than through salt?
That's probably the main area. I believe you can get some from spinach as well.
Okay.
So, gotta love spinach.
But they only
Okay.
have sea salt.
Definitely need spinach.
Okay. Selenium, which again, that's going to go back to the thyroid, so supporting that, reproductive hormones, and it defends against oxygen damage. So like free radicals, that's a really good one. That's found a lot in seafoods. Okay. So those are kind of your essential ones. The problem is you're thinking right now is, yeah, okay, if I go and consume all these healthy foods, well, I'll just be good. Then I'm not going to need anything else outside of that. Okay, and I can get everything from my food. The reality is, though, it can't happen anymore. Okay, and the reason being is you're just not going to get enough of the nutrients that you might want to get from your food, is because of the way that our food is just deficient now in nutrients. Even if you're eating in nutrient-dense foods, there's some influence out there that are going to affect that. Okay, a big one is low or poor nutrient content in our food. Why does that happen? Is it because we have our farming practices, so that our food no longer has as much of the nutrients because the soil's depleted. Okay, it's all worn out from doing the same crops over and over again. Okay, so that's horrible for our environment. The pollution. So when you're consuming a lot of the now pesticides and herbicides that get put on your food, that's going to interfere with your body's ability to absorb the nutrients the way it needs to. Okay, those toxins will actually block your body's ability to absorb. So again, that's a major issue that they're seeing. And then cooking and preparation, cooking your food, it breaks it down. Okay, but how many people actually eat raw fruits or raw food? Now, not your meats, not your raw meats there. But most people aren't getting enough raw food, which contains a lot of the enzymes to help your body digest food the way it's supposed to. Okay, and they track it again. That supply, the food and supply nutrients, they're tracking how things just keep going down and down and down. Okay, because of our farming practices. The other reasons is because we're not eating what we're supposed to. Okay, even if that weren't a factor is of the nutrients not in our food, is we're still not eating what we're supposed to. We're eating a lot of high calorie, the energy dense foods, okay, that have not a lot of nutrient value to it. Again, this is where the grains come in. Is there's some stuff in grains that might be good for you, but it's kind of offset by the fact that that's all we're eating. All we're eating is breads and pastas and grains and sugars and all that stuff. The high sugar, that's another one. Sugar's an anti-nutrient. So even if you are eating all the good foods, if you're eating too much sugar, you're actually taking the nutrients away from your body. Okay? And because your body has to use those nutrients to be able to get rid of the sugar. Okay? Damaged fats. Again, you're making your cells sick. You're making your gut sick. Is because you're eating bad fats that your body can't use to create cells. So what do? You get sick cells. Okay? And eventually that sick cell turns into what we call cancer. Okay? That's one of the ways is you can't get the good stuff in because that outside layer is impermeable. Good stuff can't get in, bad stuff can't get out. That cell gets sick, you got cancer. Okay? You got a cancer cell. Processed foods. Again, you go back to the whole toxic load. Is blocks the nutrients from getting into your food, and then artificial sweeteners. Okay, the sucralose, the Splenda, aspartame, sweet and low. I can't even remember all the names of them. Okay. So we gotta not eat these things. Okay. 82% of people don't want to give up the foods they like. Okay. They don't want to give it up. Okay. What do you value more? Eating that bowl of pasta, or being able to be around for your kids or your grandkids? What do you value more? Being able to travel when you retire, or eating that piece of cake, or having all that box of chips? or the bag of chips? What do you value more? Okay? It comes down to that's going to help you make the right decisions. Ultimately, what do you value? Okay? And then the last thing is our body and our lifestyle. Your genes, they have an effect, okay? But the foods you eat have an effect on your genes. Okay? So it's this back and forth of how it's going to affect your body. So yeah, you might have a predisposition to getting cancer, but you can turn those genes off just by the foods that you're eating, just the way you live lifestyle-wise. Biological factors. As you get older, you don't absorb nutrients as much. Your digestive system doesn't function as well. So you have to make sure that you're getting a little bit more of those things in. Okay? Lifestyle factors. Again, it goes to, are you exercising so that your body can absorb the nutrients? Okay? Other lifestyle factors is the fact that we're sedentary. Now we're super stressed. Alcohol. Alcohol limits absorption of folate, which is important for your cells. It inhibits absorption of B6. Okay? Your thiamine, a lot of your B vitamins. Smoking, it depletes your body of vitamin C, which is an antioxidant that helps fight cancer. That's why high-dose vitamin C is huge in fighting cancer, is because it actually acts like chemotherapy and goes in, it gets into the cancer cells and kills them. Okay? And smoking depletes that. Okay? Eating out or away from home, because we all know when you eat out, it's not good stuff for you, right? Okay? Especially not when you look at the restaurants that we have. Even if you do choose to go with healthy options, it's not always a healthy option because of the other stuff that gets added in there. Oral hygiene. They actually found that how you take care of your teeth can affect your health, okay? Because it affects the taste of your food. Okay? Another thing with age is as you get older, you have less taste buds. Okay? So you don't taste food as much, so you're less likely to eat as much food, and so therefore, again, you can become nutrient deficient. Okay? So your foods might taste a little bit better if you brush your teeth a little bit more frequently. Okay? Unless you're drinking orange juice, and then it's not. That's not good. Or health conditions. Obviously, diabetes is a big one. It affects your vagus nerve. It slows your digestion. Chronic heart failure because you're losing muscle mass, including in your heart. Health conditions like that, they will affect overall on how our nutrients are. So getting into nutrition. Okay?
How about environmental?
What do you mean?
Environmental. Just our environment and
Well,
pollution. And
yeah, that kind of goes
all
back to the
comes
toxins,
to
and it just blocks your body's ability to absorb those things. Okay, you're not able to absorb is because you've got all these toxins built up in your system. Okay, so that again is why I get the most questions on essential number 2, nutrition, is because there's so much information to it that it's hard to be able to do that. So how do we eat better? Well, first and foremost is eat a varied diet. Okay. Eat foods in season. When they're coming into season, obviously sometimes it's a little bit harder in Colorado where we might not have as many diverse foods, but you want to mix those things up. Vegetables and legumes, get more of those. Low sugar fruits, eaten raw, of course. Okay, of course, most people aren't cooking their fruit anyway, but lean meats, poultry, fish, tempeh, tamari, nuts, seeds. We eat a lot of beef, we eat a lot of chicken, but maybe we don't eat a whole lot of seeds and nuts, which are good sources of fat, okay? Or maybe we don't eat a whole lot of diverse types of beans, okay? Again, if you're going to eat grains, then maybe pick some more diverse things like quinoa, or like your sprouted grain breads with like these 7 grains that it gives your body a little bit more of a difference. Buckwheat, millet, barley, brown rice, oats. Again, those are going to be a little bit better for you because they're not refined. Your body's not going to burn through them so fast. If you're going to eat dairy, kind of mix it up. Get milk, yogurt, cheese. Have some of the alternatives. Like your coconut milk, your almond milk. There'll be some different, but get full fat varieties. That's the only caveat with that is if you're having those things, you want full fat. You want the fat to be able to help your cells. Okay. Emphasize eating more vegetables. Okay. You actually have to eat more vegetables in order to get those those actual nutrients into your system. It takes a lot more now, so you have to eat more, and they don't add up to as many calories as, say, if you were eating fat, which is, you need a lot less fat to give you more calories, which you still need a lot of fat, but try to mix in a lot more of the veggies to get you those nutrients that you need. Okay, so you're on the advanced plan. We always talk about 60% fat. I believe it's 30% protein, and then 5% of 5 to 10% of your diet should be vegetables. Okay, but it's a lot lower calories, so you can eat a lot more of that. And limit the sugary drinks, the pizzas, the breads, the juices, the industrial vegetables and margarines and all that junk food. Okay, eat less of those things. Eat less processed food. Your body will love you so much more for it. Okay. And then of course optimizing the nutritional content. So you want nutrient dense foods. What are the most nutrient dense foods? Greens. Okay. Your healthy greens. Eat more of those. Choose to go organic when you're able to. Okay. Follow the clean 15, the dirty dozen. Okay. Eliminate or avoid trans fats and refined grains. Try to avoid alcohol. Now I'm not going to begrudge you guys a glass of wine or a beer, but limit that. It shouldn't be like an everyday thing. Okay. Maybe once every couple weeks. Again, your body will like you a lot better for it. Okay. And then get rid of the non-foods. If it's got some long chemical name in the ingredients, don't eat it. Okay. I've said that if you can't say it, don't eat it. Just common sense. Avoid the things that with all the fillers, your bacon, your sausages, your cakes. A lot of you who have tried keto stuff, there's a lot of recipes out there, keto recipes that are like loaded with bacon. Yes, it tastes amazing, but just probably don't want to have as much of that. Okay, just because pork is not a clean meat. Okay. And then looking at like nutrition labels, you got to learn how to read nutrition labels. Okay. Again, I'm less concerned about calories. Everybody looks at like the calories. I'm more concerned about how much fat is in that, how much sugar, how many carbohydrates are in those, especially in the form of just regular sugars. So when you're reading food labels, one, check your servings per container. Okay, because you might have this little thing of juice, but they divide it, and it's and they only have like maybe 15 grams of sugar per serving, but it's like 4 servings in this little thing, and you're definitely drinking that whole thing, so you're consuming way over the amount of servings. Okay, or a bag of chips. Some of those they say like 2 chips. I'm sorry, nobody's eating 2 chips. Nobody's eating 2 chips. Okay. That can add up to a huge amount of calories, like thousands of calories in just a little sitting there. Okay, look for ingredients that you want to avoid. Again, if you can't say it, shouldn't eat it. Look at your.
I was just going to say on the sugars now they say that they put down additional sugars on the labels. So.
Yep. And of course you can go back down and look at the ingredients, and if it says anything with OS, fructose, sucrose, glucose, that's sugar. Maltodextrin, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, all these different corn sugar, cane sugar. They're all sugar. It's all sweeteners. It's not good for you. Percent of daily value. What does that actually mean? Okay, that's based on the FDA's recommended amount of this per day. Okay, so again, when it comes to salt, yeah, there's a recommendation in there, and you probably don't want to go, have too much salt. Okay, but if you're getting saturated fats, they have recommendations of how much saturated fats you should be getting in a day. And I generally say you can have more than what they recommend, because generally their levels are pretty low. Okay, it's kind of like their recommendation for vitamin D, 1,000 milligrams a day. Well, that's enough to prevent rickets, but not much else. Okay, so you're going to want more of some of these things, especially when it comes to our nutrients. Okay, and be aware of what's on the container or package. So some good things that you want to look for is BPA free. Okay, BPA is a preservative or a liner they put in a lot of cans. It is a hormone disruptor. You want to stay away from it. It's known to cause cancer. Non-GMO. I'm not against genetically modified in general. I'm against what genetically modified vegetables have sprayed on them continually, okay? Organic, yes, organic is good. Doesn't mean that's a pass. If it says organic, it's all good for you. Because there's organic sugar, doesn't mean it's good for you. But those are some things that you can look out for to make sure that you're getting good stuff in, okay? Now, when we try to put it together in Max Living, our nutrition plans are what we call the core plan and the advanced plan, okay? And the core plan and advanced plan, you're going to do these for different things, okay? So core plan is just a way of eating, okay? This is the way most of us should be eating just on a daily basis, okay? You're eating lots of healthy fats. If you're eating dairy, you're having full fat dairy. One of the differences between the advanced plan and core plan is you might not have dairy on the advanced plan. You're eating naturally raised animal proteins. You can have whole grains and ancient grains on the core plan, okay? But we'll talk about the advanced plan in a second and what the difference is. You can have a variety of fruits and vegetables, okay? Plant-based carbohydrates, again in the form of vegetables. And again, the basis for those things is choose organic when you can. Try to go naturally raised. Watch out for all the chemicals and preservatives and stuff, and you go in as naturally as possible. Your body's going to like you much better for it. Okay, so this is for somebody who is healthy and wants to stay that way. Okay, this is the core plan. However, for most of the people I meet, that's not the case. There's people, every day, people come into me and they're like, well, I'm dealing with this. Not only is I'm in pain, but I've also got high blood pressure. I'm a diabetic and I want to be able to reverse the diabetes. So this is where, or they want to be able to lose weight. That's a huge one, is people want to be able to lose weight. You want more energy. So if you don't have energy, if you deal with ADD, ADHD, if you deal with, if you're on medications, okay, then what you're going to do is the advanced plan, okay? And the advanced plan is not a permanent thing. It's just to get your body caught up. It's to get your body healed, to get your body healthy, and then you can go to the core plan, okay? But if you're on any of those things, if you got high cholesterol, if you deal with blood sugar issues, then you need to be on the advanced plan. And it's the same thing. The only difference is you're not having any grains. You're not having breads, pastas, anything. You're not having any of it. Okay? Because your body has to have a chance to catch up on the inflammation. You got to be able to heal the inflammation. That's the whole purpose of the advanced plan. Heal the inflammation. And the only fruits that you're going to have are berries and low sugar fruits such as Granny Smith apples, grapefruit, and maybe a little bit of lemon and lime. Okay? That's it. Okay? But there's really not a whole difference. You're still eating lots of healthy fat. You're still, the other difference you might have is maybe you're not eating as much protein, because if you eat too much protein, that turns to sugar, okay? So you're consuming a lot of those things. Even with the low sugar fruits and berries, you want to limit those as much as possible because, again, it's still sugar. It might be in smaller doses, but if you're having like 20 strawberries in a sitting, kind of defeats the purpose of not having all that much sugar, right? Okay? So that's where you need to go. And cognitive, if you have any autism spectrum disorders, that's a big one, is because it's going to help feed the brain. So we want to load up with fat. And the metabolic conditions, chronic fatigue, toxicity, if you're toxic, if you got poor immune system, if you find yourself during the winter you're getting sick all the time, this is where you want to go. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of run through some of the things that you might notice with nutritional deficiencies. Okay? And again, how to be able to battle that. We talked about some of the nutrients where you would get some of these things earlier. So how to know if you're deficient in these things. Okay? So calcium, kids just in general, they need more calcium. Why? Is because they're what? They're growing. Okay? So they're going to need more building blocks for their bones. So kids 9 to 18 are generally the biggest ones. Pregnant women need more of it. Older adults, if you deal with muscle cramps or you have abnormal heart rhythms, you're going to want to supplement with calcium. Now, like I said though, it's probably the most overprescribed supplement that I see. I see people all the time taking calcium supplements when they don't really need to. Just that is mostly one that you can consume from your food. okay? Vitamin D. Unless you're working outside in like a construction job, you're deficient in vitamin D3, okay? That's how you know. If you're a human being and you're spending a lot of your time in an office job, more than likely you're going to be deficient in vitamin D. Best way to know is to check your blood levels, okay? Now, you're going to go in and you're going to get your blood levels and they'll say, as long as you're over 30, you're good. That's not the case, okay? You want to be up at around 60, 60 or 60 to 100 is going to be the max, is where you want to be. That's your therapeutic range. Other ways that you know you have vitamin D deficiencies is you got weak bones, you got osteoporosis, you got osteopenia. That means you're not getting enough vitamin D. Okay, so you need to be taking more of those. Okay, iron. People who need it is women on their cycle. Okay, you're going to become anemic, so you definitely need it. Pregnant women, you're going to need a little bit more iron because they're building a baby in there. So they got to make sure you have those things. If you have like a blood disorders, then of course you need more iron with that. Okay. Again, lactating women, individuals with dark skin. Okay, a lot of people don't realize this, but the darker your skin, the less you're absorbing and producing vitamin D, even if you are outside. Okay, because your body's going to regulate that. That's another reason. If you get fatigue, you get muscle aches, weakness. That's going back to the vitamin D. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, you need to be supplementing with iron, okay? Because you're just not going to get it from other sources. If you got pale skin, if you got dull or thin hair, that's another sign you need more iron. Okay. B12, again, vegetarians and vegans, you need more vitamin B12. If you got low energy, you need more B12. Numbness, tingling, balance problems. If you're anemic, B12. Okay. Folate. Okay. Pregnant women especially. They always talk about you need folic acid. I prefer folate. Folate's a better version of that. To where your body can absorb it a little bit more. Women in general, 19 to 30, you need to be taking you need to be getting some sort of supplement with folate in it. Okay. Non-Hispanic black women are notorious for being low in folate. If you got gastrointestinal diseases, celiac disease, Crohn's disease, more than likely you're going to be deficient in folate. If you have long-term alcoholism, or if you're consuming alcohol every day, you're going to be low in folate because alcohol blocks that. Okay. And then magnesium, that's a big one. Kids need it. If you have digestive issues, you need it. Pregnant, lactating women, older adults, people with type 2 diabetes definitely need to be taking it. Again, long-term alcoholism because it's going to block the absorption of that, and older adults. Notice a theme with a lot of these is older adults because they're not getting the nutrients in. Okay, so you got to make supplement. Make sure you're getting those things in, whether it be through your food. But the other way is, again, even if you're eating great diet, since our food is so depleted, you have to have something else. Okay, there's got to be something else outside of that. Even if you're taking supplements, okay, look at your supplements. So what's the quality of them? You need to have pure supplements. They need to have purity. They need to have strength. They need to have potency. If your body's not able to absorb them, then you're wasting your money. You're taking a supplement that's just going right out through your urine. Okay. I always say, the most expensive supplement you'll ever take is what? It's the one that doesn't work. It's the one that your body can't take in. So you're wasting your money. Okay. So how many of you take like one a day, or what are the other brands? The Centrum. How many of you take any of those supplements? Okay. The other thing you got to watch out for is a lot of these supplements, they've actually tested what's in them, and what's in them is not actually what's supposed to be in them. It's not what's on the label. Okay. They've had independent labs look at what's actually in them, and they're loaded with fillers. Okay, so again, that's one of those things that you're more than likely wasting your money. Even if it's less expensive, it's still a waste of money. Even if you take a supplement that's only $1 for 100 pills, you're still wasting your money because it's not working, right? Okay, so what do you gotta look for? You gotta look for a brand promise. What does this brand claim? What are they actually, are they living up to that promise? Are they gonna stand behind their product? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Has it been tested for safety? You know, a lot of these supplements, unfortunately with supplements, is you can put whatever claims on there that you want, as long as you say on there has not been verified by the FDA. You can say whatever you want on there. And you know, that's why there's a lot of, you look at professional athletes and they're testing positive for certain things, is because what was supposed to be in them or what's in them is not supposed to be in them, right? Okay. Is it manufactured at a proper FDA registered lab, a pharmaceutical grade lab? Okay. A lot of those supplements are just manufactured. There's no standards with it. So again, you can get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and not really know, as opposed to having pure supplements. The other thing you're looking for is you want no artificial sweeteners, no GMOs, and no gluten, because that's gonna damage your system. The GMOs, the gluten, artificial sweeteners, your body doesn't like those things. Okay. So that's why I'm part of Max Living. Okay. Is because I stand behind the products. And I know when it comes to all those things we just talked about, that's Max Living's. We know that we're giving the best products, best supplements out there, is because we test them. Okay? Everything that we produce, it's all produced in a pharmaceutical grade lab. Okay? Along the lines of what the FDA what you have to do for medications. You know, even higher standards of that is because we want to make sure that what we say is in there is actually in there. Okay. So yeah, you focus on the foods first, but again, all those things that I talked about as far as, you know, older adults, your body's not absorbing those things. So there's got to be some sort of supplement to that. Okay. So the older you get, the more likely you need to be on some sort of multivitamin. Okay. And obviously, men and women have different needs. Women need more folate, more B vitamins, versus men. We need a little bit more lycopene and a little bit more muscle building, is because of the way our bodies interact. Okay, so getting different things in there. That's why we have men's multi and women's multi, is because there's different needs for that. Okay. The next one is, how do I know if you need vitamin D3? Is you're a living, functioning human being. Okay? If you're not on vitamin D3, you're not taking at least some sort of vitamin D on a regular basis, you're deficient. Okay? And again, you go back to quality and effectiveness and absorption. This is why I love our vitamin D3, because I've had people come in, they've been taking like double their recommended dose of vitamin D3 or from other companies, and their vitamin D levels are just still above normal, and then they get on ours and they actually start loading it up, and within like a month their levels are like way up where they're supposed to be. Last time I took mine, or last time I checked my blood levels of vitamin D3, I was up over 100, which is actually outside of range. It's too high. I'm like, okay, we need to bring that down a little bit. So I actually stopped taking as much of it, is because my body was absorbing it the way it was supposed to. And again, you want strong bones, vitamin D. Okay, this is why your kids should be taking vitamin D. Okay, you want healthy skin, vitamin D. You want to fight cancer, vitamin D. Okay, boost your immune system, improve your digestion, vitamin D. And the other good part about it is it has probiotics, which is also going to help your digestive system and help you absorb it even more. Okay, so whenever I say people take vitamin D, is you need to be taking a probiotic with it, as you might as well just take it together. Okay, best vitamin D you can get out there, and I will stand by that 100%. If your blood levels don't get up into normal range, I'll refund you. Okay? Optimal Omega. Okay, this is another one. So when we talk about essential fats, okay, normally what we want to see is we want to see as a marker that works.
I'm on it.
Thank you. Okay? So if this is 1 unit, I know it's a little wonky, but if this is 1 unit of omega-3, okay, normally what we want to see is 2 to 1, okay? So for omega-6 and 9s versus omega-3, okay, this is where it should be. But unfortunately with our diet, most people are up, you know, way up here at 20 to 1 or 30 to 1. It's because they eat conventional beef and poor, very high acidity meats and even farmed fish. So it throws that ratio out of balance. Okay? So what do we do, like with our omega, Optimal Omega? It's actually built in the proper ratio. It's built 2 to 1 omega-6 and omega-3. Plus it's a concentrated dose of the omega-3. Okay? So that what that's going to do is going to help fight inflammation in your body and bring those levels back down to where they need to be. Okay? So if you have high cholesterol, if you have high blood pressure, if you have metabolic issues, you need to be taking an omega-3. Okay? And again, goes to purity standards. Is you can go to Walgreens and get the fish oils they got there. They're getting that from a lot of farm-raised fish, which again is going to be high in the omega-6 and omega-9s, or they're getting it from toxic fish. Okay, there's a reason they recommend pregnant women don't take omega fish oils or omega-3s, is because the fish that they're getting it from is toxic. Okay, so you want Pacific fish. If you're going to have fish oils, ours though is mostly things like borage oil, evening primrose oil, so you can get more pure sources. Okay, and get those things into balance. Magnesium. If you've got digestive issues, if you got heart issues, if you got diabetes, you need to be taking a magnesium. Again, making sure it's something that your body can actually use. Okay, and it's a high dose of it. And there's a reason it helps with digestion. You always hear about like milk of magnesia. Okay, get things running through. That's because of the magnesium. Okay, and then vitamin C. Okay, this is a big one when it comes to your immunity. Okay, a lot of people who've been coming in coughing, sneezing, head colds and stuff. What do I tell them? Load up on your vitamin D3 and your vitamin C. Okay, and not your emergency. Okay, because all you're doing is taking a big dose of sugar with a little bit of vitamin C in there. Don't use an emergency. That stuff's no good. Okay, but this is essential. Like I said, is fighting cancer. There's a reason we use high dose vitamin C in helping to fight cancer. Is because it acts as an antioxidant and goes in and kills cancer cells. Okay, and of course you can get it from a lot of your citrus vegetables or citrus fruits, excuse me. But if you're on the advanced plan, you can't have a lot of those things, is because they're loaded with sugar, especially like your oranges. That's a lot of sugar in there. It's going to cause inflammation, which kind of defeats the purpose. So that's where you're supplementing with those things. And what I've learned is something that you can do is when you're sick, is start off the first day, every hour have 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay, this is the new therapeutic protocol that I've been talking to some people about. 1,000 milligrams every hour. Okay, day 2, 2,000 milligrams every hour. Okay, that you're awake. You don't have to wake up in the middle of the night and take vitamin C. Okay, day 3, 3,000 milligrams, and you keep adding until you get to either 10,000. You clear your body clears out the infection, or you get to the point of loose stool. Okay, and then at that point you back it down. And at that point the body says, okay, I can't process, I can't tolerate anymore. I'm using all I can, and the rest goes out through the stool. Okay, and of course at that point you back it down a little bit, and you just stay at that point until again you clear it, or things balance themselves out. Okay. So when it comes to is kind of the basic essentials that everybody needs, this is it. Okay? The men's you need a multivitamin to make sure you're supplementing all the other stuff, maybe the little stuff that you might not be getting enough of with your food. Vitamin C, magnesium, you need an omega, and a vitamin D3. And for me, the two most important is your vitamin D3 and your Optimal Omega. Okay, those are the two most important that you need to be taking. But other than that, yes, the men's multi, you're doing that. The good thing is all those things I just talked about outside of the Pro Magnesium, we don't necessarily have that in our office, we don't carry it, but you can go on our website, essentialfc.com, and you can order it, okay? And you can actually order this, and what they'll send it to you at a little bit of a discount on auto ship. You can sign up for auto ship, and it just comes to you each month. And you've got your supplements, you've got your basic supplies right there that you need, okay? But today, the the multivitamin, either men's or women's vitamin C, Optimal Omega, and D3 is at 15 or 20?
20.
20% off, okay? Not gonna get a better deal than that, 20% off, okay? So you need that stuff. So that's it as far as nutrition. And kind of filling in with the rest of the stuff is just some of the other essentials. Mindset, of course, you gotta make sure that you're keeping your low stress. Stress, it'll kill you, okay? It truly will kill you, okay? It increases inflammation, it damages your gene expression, which makes it more likely that you're going to develop disease and turn on those triggers for cancer or heart disease or diabetes. When you're stressed, it increases cortisol, which increases weight gain, shuts down your immune system, it decreases your ability to metabolize. Okay, so if you struggle with weight, again, that'll be a part of that, and to also to be able to detoxify. Your body can't detoxify when it's dealing with too much stress. So you got to learn to manage your stress. You eliminate the causes as best you can, the outside influences, be able to manage your stress, and then increase your body's ability to deal with those. And what's the best way to do that? Anybody know what the best way to increase your body's ability to deal with stress?
See what offends you. I think
It's your nervous system, okay? We call it your general adaptability potential. General adaptability potential, we call it GAP. That's your body's ability to deal with things. What controls that? It's your nervous system, okay? That's why we started with the nervous system, because it's the most important. You gotta make sure your nervous system's firing, otherwise your body's not gonna deal with stress. When you exercise, of course, oxygen and exercise. Oxygen is a critical part of your body, okay? But exercise actually improves your digestion, so you absorb more things, okay? The other part of that is, we're trying to make changes with your diet. They found that people who exercise, along with changing their diet, they're more likely to stick with the healthy habits, okay? So, yes, I know it can be a lot to take on exercise and diet and all at once, but do it and you'll be more likely to succeed those things, okay? Those of you who came to our last makeover, okay? You already have everything you need in the challenge guide, okay? Don't stop with your challenge guide. Just keep going through that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this thing right here. It's 30 days of workouts, meal plans, recipes. It's all listed out for you. It actually lists out what to eat, what day, when to exercise, and you do that. We actually had a guy lose 15 pounds in 30 days. Had another guy lose 12. The average weight loss, we lost between 13 people who completed the challenge. We lost over 100 pounds. Okay, so
Nice.
pretty good stuff. Okay, but you can buy that, and that's $25. The best $25 that you ever spent on making dietary changes. But oxygen and exercise, you need exercise. And the type you want to use is metabolic conditioning. High intensity, short duration, train your body to burn fat, build muscle. Okay? You're conditioning your body to increase your metabolism. So come to Max T3s on Saturdays. Okay? Some of you who've been coming, you can tell the difference. And the last essential is minimizing toxins. This is pretty simple. Just don't put bad stuff in. Your body will do a lot better with it. You're not going to poison yourself. Toxins cause inflammation, whether it be through your food, whether it be your personal care products. It affects your brain, causes inflammation in your brain. So you want to be able to limit those things. Okay? So obviously we talked about our kind of basic essentials that pretty much most people need, but depending on your situation, there's other things that you might want to add in to make sure that you're going to maximize it. Okay? So we talked about is, yes, if you're eating a proper diet, you might want a multivitamin to kind of supplement with that. However, if you're not eating a proper diet, then what you need something else to add in more of those greens, okay? To add in more of those nutrients, and that's where the Max Greens is awesome. It's like eating 5 servings of vegetables, okay? It doesn't spike your blood sugar because there's no sugar in it, but it's gonna get you a load of nutrients. It's got chlorella, spirulina, which are the actually sources of protein, but are huge detoxifiers, okay? So that's a really good one if you're not consuming the adequate amounts of fruits and vegetables every day, okay? Number 2 is daily defense. So if you are stressed, okay, the daily defense is absolutely one that you're going to want to have because it's going to reduce the inflammation. It's going to improve your body's ability to deal with stress. The daily defense actually lowers cortisol in your system, which again makes it less likely that you're going to accumulate weight around your waist. It's going to make it less likely to cause the inflammation from the cortisol being spiked. So really good stuff. Okay? If you're working out, if you're exercising, okay, you want to get good protein right after your workout. The best way to do that is to do like a protein smoothie. Okay? So the grass-fed whey protein, there's no sugar, it's undenatured, which means it's not cooked. Okay? They don't heat it up, which breaks down the protein. So it gives you good quality building blocks. And it's all from grass-fed organic cows. Okay? Again, that's the best protein you can get out there. It's kind of between Max Living and Garden of Life are probably the top 2, but Max Living is probably better because we're using all organic. There's no corn or anything fed to those cows. So it's going to get it's good quality, bioavailable, which means your body can actually use it, protein. Okay? And the last one is if you're toxic, if you're taking in a lot of toxic, if you're in a toxic job, you need to detox on a somewhat regular basis. Okay? And it's got to be in 2 parts. It's taking the toxins out of the cells and then taking the toxins out of the body, putting those 2 things together, because if you just take it out of the cells, you're going to have a bunch of toxins circulating in your blood system. If you're just taking it out of the body, then you'll absorb the toxins that are in your digestive system floating around, or that might be in your blood, but it's not going to take it out of the cells, and so you're going to have fat cells that are stuck with toxins in there, and there's no way to get them out, okay? Because it's not that 2-part, okay? So those are the other things that you can add in there, all right? So what are your action steps? Okay, how do you take this and start applying it? Well, number 1 is if you've never had your nerve system checked, get it checked, okay? Best way to do that is an x-ray. Again, you can talk to Jenna. What we do is all the testing, x-rays, full orthopedic evaluation, neurological evaluation, entire first visit, again, including the x-rays for $40. Normally you're looking at over $100 for all that testing, okay? So talk to Jenna and she can get you set up with that. Really simple, we've got times blocked off all the rest of the week here, okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is if you are struggling with your health right now, get on the advanced plan. Okay, make sure you're getting on the advanced plan, reducing the inflammation in your body, get your body healing, okay? If you're doing fairly well health-wise, get on the core plan, okay? Making sure that you're keeping your body well instead of continually building disease, okay? And generally I recommend people, even if they're doing pretty well, to get on the advanced plan for a while and then go back to the core plan. And most people will notice a big difference even just getting on the advanced plan for like a month, okay? They'll lose a little bit of weight, they'll feel better, get more energy, and then you can add the stuff back in moderation after your body's got a chance to heal, okay? Other things is if you're not taking the supplements, if you're not supplementing for your food, make sure that you're doing that, okay? Again, you can get all the supplements discounted tonight, and that'll help make sure you can get started with that stuff, and then add in the other stuff as needed, the exercise, the detox, the mindset, but you gotta have at least your basics, okay? Simple as that, okay? And then from here, what do you do next? Okay, well, the next thing from here is, of course, like I said, the Max T3 on Saturdays. If you're not coming, it's awesome, great community. We have age range all across the board. I think our last class, the average age was probably like 70 something, okay? So you can do it. It doesn't matter what age you are, you can do it. We have always things that you can do. And Madison will kick your butt some of those days there. She's pretty proud of that. So, But yeah, it's come, the class lasts 45 minutes tops between warm-up, workout, and cool-down, okay? And you get to know some cool people, and then you can start taking some of that stuff and start applying it at home. The other thing though, is again, you know, Brighton is 30,000 people. There's over 50,000 people just within a 5-mile radius of this office. That's 50,000 people who need to live the 5 essentials, okay? There's a reason why we, as Americans, and even people here in Brighton, over half of Americans are dealing with chronic health conditions, are struggling with their health, is because they're not living the 5 essentials, okay? So in order to do that, we gotta teach people the 5 essentials, okay? Best way to do that is coming up on April 8th, is our next community dinner. Take a flyer, invite somebody. Invite somebody, change somebody's life, okay? I always ask my patients is when you feel like this is the place for your health, share that with somebody, okay? Because I would not be standing here today if somebody didn't do the same for me, okay? So you have the power to impact so many lives. You think of all your guys' lives who are being impacted, the fact that you're coming here, okay? That would not be happening if my friend hadn't said something, okay? So you can change the life of thousands of people just by the words you say, okay? So invite somebody, again, it's gonna be April 8th, that Buffalo Run. I'm buying dinner that night. I'm paying for everybody's meal. Who is gonna turn down a free steak dinner, okay? Nobody, okay? Even if they don't come to the office, I don't care, they're gonna learn something, okay? And then coming up in April, we'll also be having another workshop on raising healthy families, okay? So if you're gonna have families, or if you have grandkids, or you want your grandkids to be healthy, that's gonna be great. And lastly, is if you're not connected, connect with us, okay? Go to facebook.com/healthybrighton, like my page, Dr. Marcus Gall, or facebook.com/essentialfamcairo, okay? Like our pages there, and join, we post healthy articles, news stuff, great way to just connect with other people, and to continually learn more, okay? So with that, thank you guys for coming, hope you learned something. I see question.
You didn't go over the CoQ10 and the Max GI, and I'm curious to know what the Max GI is because I have issues with my gut.
Yeah, so those are a little bit more specialized, and again, that's kind of outside, beyond even the little bit more specified. But if you do have digestive issues, if you have gut issues, the Max GI is something good to be able to take.
Okay.
It's got essential oils in there, enzymes to help break down
Does
food.
it overlap with anything else?
No.
You said the essential oils, so maybe it has like omegas in there?
I mean, it's a little bit more specialized,
Okay.
just to work specifically on gut health. Now, a lot of the basics, they'll help with gut health, but that one specifically, if you've got leaky gut syndrome, if you've got major digestive issues, then you might get into something like that. CoQ10 is really if you're on high blood pressure or high cholesterol medications,
Okay.
then you would potentially be taking that. But
Because
again,
as you were talking about them, I'm looking down going, yeah, okay.
those are a little bit more specialized.
Okay.
And again, my philosophy is start with the basics, start changing those things, and then you can add those things back in. Or then you can add them as needed. Okay.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
the omega, one thing I wanted to say is that April takes that and she's highly allergic to shellfish. And the omegas on the market are all contaminated with shellfish. And she'll react taking them and go into anaphylaxis. And she takes yours and does amazing on it and feels great with her RA. She needs it and she feels great on it.
Yeah, yep. So that's good.